Thomas Vielman's here to talk us through the international front pages. Hello to you,
Hi,
Phil.
hello.
We're going to start off with Turkey and focusing very much on that meeting between Joe Biden and the Turkish authorities later today.
That's right. He's the highest-ranking U.S. official to visit Turkey since the failed coup attempt last month. Of course, this is huge news in Turkey. You can read about it in the Hurriyet Daily News. That's the English language version of Hurriyet. Now, they're focusing on just what he's going to talk about when he meets with the president, Recep Tayyip Erdogan. He's going to discuss the fight against terrorism, but he's also probably going to talk about some pretty touchy subjects as well. For instance, Ankara's request for the U.S. to extradite Fethullah Gulen, the cleric who, according to Hurriyet and Turkish authorities, led the July 15th coup, and as it is at the head of what they call a terrorist organization.
But lots of US papers, though, they've got a very different opinion about Gulen's role in that failed coup, haven't they?
That's right. If we take a look at an article in the Washington Post, it's really interesting to see how they described Gulen. They say, look, there's no evidence that he was actually involved in the coup. Yes, he's inspired a large civil society and an educational movement in Turkey, but there's no clear evidence that he was actually behind this coup. And according to this editorial in the Washington Post from this week, Erdogan's assault on Gulen has been over the top. It's a witch hunt, according to the Washington Post, which also has a look at what's going to happen in this meeting. And it says that Joe Biden should reassure President Erdogan, but he must also deliver some tough advice. And the Washington Post says that Erdogan's sweeping purges in the wake of the attempted coup have seriously undermined democracy and the rule of law in Turkey. So you can see very different take on that meeting there in the American papers.
Absolutely. Well, from Turkish politics to US politics now, and the papers are focusing on Democratic candidate Hillary Clinton, who's been facing growing rumours about her health.
That's right. This is after she released some medical records. Now, the health truthers, those are what they're called in the States, they're saying that Hillary Clinton is unwell, she's unfit to be president. So this week, she appeared on a comedy show with Jimmy Kimmel Live, and she defended her health by successfully opening a jar of pickles. You can see her, the screen grab of her doing this on the show. Jimmy Kimmel also took her pulse, and apparently she is very much alive.
Goodness, having them doing press-ups live on air next. Goodness knows what else. Well, Donald Trump, of course, among the chorus of those questioning Clinton's health. But the New York Times says he's not immune to scrutiny himself.
That's right. This is a fascinating article that wonders, are Trump and Clinton healthy? Now, this is an interview, actually, with a Dr. Robert Lahita from Rutgers University. He has studied the history of presidential ailments. It's fascinating. Now, he comes back on past presidents and their efforts to keep their illnesses under wraps. Like JFK, for instance, he had some physical ailments he didn't want the public to know about. He says there's definitely a need for more transparency, especially because, if you look at this election, the candidates are quite old. Clinton is 68, Trump is 70, Bernie Sanders, he's not in the race anymore, but he's 74. And so if politicians are getting older, running for president much later in their lives, then they certainly are going to have to be more transparent. Now, kids might think that these politicians are as old as dinosaurs. Well, they quite literally are dinosaurs in this cartoon. See what I did there? Segue into this great cartoon in China Daily, which depicts Donald Trump as an actual dinosaur, T-Rex, causing panic on the streets of the U.S. I know it's a little bit out of the blue, but I had to show you this cartoon today.
It's a good cartoon. It's very entertaining. Let's move from the Chinese papers to the British papers now. And they've got a report on the gender pay gap, and new research published yesterday by the Institute for Fiscal Studies.
That's right. It's pretty depressing, especially if you're a woman. Let's take a look at these results. You can read about them in The Guardian. On average, women earn 18% less than men, and that widens significantly after maternity leave. So that's why you can see The Guardian here talking about the gender gap, the gender pay gap, and the mother of all barriers. In the 12 years after the birth of the first child, the pay gap grows to 33%. So it's quite a widening gap as women get older. Now, The Independent reports on the situation stateside. This is the latest survey from the Pew Research Center. And you can see, don't worry, sexism is over.
Well, that's good to know.
Isn't that good to know? Well, this is according to men. 56% of men in this survey say that women no longer face significant obstacles in the workplace and beyond. So good to know that that's what men think, but it's not so surprising if you ask women what they think. It's a very different picture. 63% say that discrimination still makes their lives harder.
Okay, and just quickly, Flo, before you go, a word on something that we cherish here on the morning show but don't get enough of. Talking, of course, about sleep.
Sleep, one of our favorite topics here on The Breakfast Show. Just very quickly, check out this study. You can read about it in The Guardian. It's wondering why we spend a third of our lives sleeping. Well, it allows the brain to calm down, and it's crucial for us to secure memories, remember and learn so that we can adapt to the world around us. But what's fascinating is this latest study is also opening doors to helping people with depression. Scientists say that if you deprive people of sleep, it can actually help them cure depression. So maybe that's good news that we're not getting so much sleep anymore.
That's why we're all so happy, Flo.
Exactly.
That's why we're all so happy. That and tons of coffee. Thank you very much.